Good morning, everybody. This is Liz Schode, registered dietitian and director of clinical nutrition here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center, doing another Learning with Liz lesson today. Well, today's June 1st, new month. So I was trying to think, what can I talk about today? Well, I was going to talk about like food safety during the summer, but I'm gonna keep that for maybe next week. So today I'm actually going to talk about is eating fish. And they're like, why are we just going to talk about eating fish? Well, actually, June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So there's also just an Alzheimer's month. I think that's the month of November, but the month of June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. So what can we eat to help our brain? But did you know there's actually some things that we can eat? So how about eating fish? How many of you guys like fish? Hopefully a lot of people like to eat fish. But did you know, fish is something actually that can help our brain and help our memory? So I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit of what's in fish and how it can help us. So there's a type of fat that probably everybody hears about. It's called an omega-3 fatty acid. And it does a lot of good things with our heart, but also part of those omega-3s is a type of acid. Now I'm going to read it and hopefully pronounce it correctly, but it's docosahexaenoic acid, or other words, DHA. Probably heard of that before, but DHA is much easier to say than the other long word. But DHA actually goes straight to our brain when we eat foods that's contained in. It's an omega fatty acid that it helps to keep our brain functioning correctly. So it is something that's very important for our brain health, is to have this DHA. It also helps with our nervous system and helps with those tissues and things to keep it healthy. And it's something that's very good for us. So it says, if you think higher levels of DHA in your diet might simply help by putting fish on our shopping list, there's also a few other things that it can help us with, and especially with Alzheimer's. They're finding a lot of research that including the foods that have the DHA, which would be your fish, that helps maybe to reduce our risk for Alzheimer's, which is a huge thing that a lot of us have family histories with that. So, and I kind of liked this one little paragraph because I'm thinking about, for me, for my personal history, it says signs of memory loss shouldn't be our first single to take to boost intake. We need to think about eating fish all the time, okay? Whether or not it's for our heart or it's for our brain. It's very, very important. So the guidelines, the 2020 through 2025 dietary guidelines for Americans recommends that an adult consumes at least 8 ounces of seafood per week. So that could be like 2 4-ounce portions of some type of fish. 3 ounces of meat looks like the size of a deck of cards. So think about 4 ounces. It's just a little bit larger than that is. So in particular, oily fish, and those are things such as salmon, tuna, Atlantic mackerel, herring, and trout are great sources of that DHA, because they're very, very high with the omega-3s, and that's why. It's better if we bake it, broil it, grill it, of course, instead of frying. And then also you want to make sure, like with some tunas and with trouts, that it's not something that's high in mercury, because tuna can be high in mercury. So it's more like you want something like, say, a farm-caught type of tuna. And actually the darker tuna has less mercury than the white tuna has in it. So we think the white tuna would eat better, it looks better, but actually the darker is actually a little bit better for us. Your salmon is lower in with that mercury also. But watch things such as shark and swordfish. I don't know if you've ever eaten those or not, but those are kind of remind me of eating steak, is kind of the taste of that, but they're high in that mercury level, so you want to kind of try to avoid those. And trying to do things, especially in this area, it's fish that you would get if there's a fresh seafood market, or if you buy like frozen fish, but something like a mahi or orange roughy, catfish, that type of thing is going to have that DHA in there. So, and it's very lean protein. So that's the super thing about fish. It's a very, very lean protein for us. But what if what if a person's a vegetarian? How are they going to get that if they don't eat any fish? You actually can find the DHA in some interesting things. It's found in algae. I know there's a way to have some dried algae and things, and also it can even be found in some, like say, some seaweed actually. And if you had ever tried dried seaweed, I've kidded and laughed about this, about trying, and I have tried some before in the past. It's totally different, but it is a way to get that DHA in. We also can get it in things such as ground flax seeds. We also can get it in walnuts and chia seeds. Also, which that's more of that plant-based. So trying to bump up our fish intake if we eat meat. If we don't eat meat, looking, you know, at other sources of how we can get that DHA, but it's going to help. It's going to help our brain health. So we can do things to help that. So if you can, just try to do that. I will have this little article attached to the talk today, so you can actually kind of read it. If you have any questions or again topic suggestions for us to discuss, please leave us a little note. And I hope everyone tries to eat some fish this week, and have a great day.